like to call this meeting to order this Tuesday, August 20th, 2013. The clerk will call the roll.
Mayor Wolcott.
Here.
Vice Mayor Biendo.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Alton.
Here.
Councilmember Mankiewicz.
Here.
Councilmember Hall.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you'll all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. City Manager, are you up to a report?
No report tonight, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. City Attorney's report.
Just a brief one, Mayor and Council. We did have 200 applicants, more than 200 applicants for the Victim Services Advocate position, which closed yesterday. So we'll be going through those resumes and trying to select somebody with as much experience as possible. So I just want to give you an update on that. We have also posted for the 2 vacancies in the City Attorney's Office for civil attorneys. Those don't close, though, for another week and a half, and then we'll see how many applicants we get and go through those.
Great. Thank you very much. The regular council agenda consists of, first of all, the consent agenda. There are only 4 items on the consent agenda. Is there any item that any council member wishes to take off for further discussion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Motion's been made to approve the consent agenda as presented. Seeing no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll.
Unanimous 6 yes vote.
Thank you. The next item is item number 5. Item number 5 is the discussion and regarding the appointment of the replacement for District 4 council member and the vacancy created by the death of Councilmember Roy Villanueva. The order in which we will take our discussion with the applicants is in the order in which those applications were received by the city. And so I would first like to call up Rachel Villanueva to come forward to the council, announce your name and address for the record, and I will then take questions from the council. Right here.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. My name is Rachel Villanueva. I live at 12692 West Greenway Road in Surprise 85374. I applied for the position. I feel that I'm qualified due to my involvement in the community. I have been a board member for different organizations such as MALDEF, which is the Mexican American Legal Defense Education System that's in Phoenix. I have also been on the OT. Right now, at the present time, I'm on the OTS Revitalization Committee. I was appointed, I believe, 2 months ago. I have also been in the Neighborhood Revitalization Committee in 2003 to 2005. I have been a coach for 13 to 15-year-old girls, which nine of them received scholarships for college. I'm very proud of that. I have been on the school board for 8.5 years, and I've been chairman of the Fiestas Patrias in Surprise, which was very festive. For 10 years, we had the Fiestas in Surprise. I have also been involved with the school in many ways, like PTOs. I created a booster club at the high school for many years, and it was very successful. I was very proud of that. So I'm also working right now with the golf tournament that is for the Dysart Education Foundation. To raise funds for children, to give scholarships, and for teachers. So there's a lot of things that I can go on and do, say other things that I've been involved with, but I'm very interested in the job, and I feel that I'm qualified. I'm willing to work with the city council as you know, for the city as a whole, because I know the council works for the entire city. But as far as the OTS, My husband Roy loved the OTS, and that would not be lost because I will make sure that I will continue the work in the OTS. There's a lot of work to do, and I'm more than happy to look after it and continue my meetings the way that Roy was continuing his meetings every Wednesday. I will continue to do that. That's all I can tell you is that I will work with you and hope that if I'm selected, that that's about all I have to say.
Very good. Thank you for your
Thank
opening
you.
statement. And council members, do you have questions? Any questions? Council member, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Rachel, thanks so much for your willingness to come forward and serve the city. What are the maybe one or two things that you think need some major attention as far as your district? What are the one or two things that you think you want to work on most as it relates to your district? And then later, if I have a chance, I may ask generally about the city as well.
You mean in the OTS?
Yes.
Can I give you 10 items? There's a lot of work to do in the OTS. Like I mentioned, I drive through there. I used to listen to Roy. I knew what the people wanted. One of the main things is beautification of the city. I would like to see for it to be one of the areas. You know, every city has an OTS. Every city, and we want to make this one the best for people to come and say, hey, you know, in Surprise, the OTS is really a great place to see. So, like I said, I can name 10, but right now I'll just say that I will work on the most important ones once I get involved, if I get involved. Thank you.
Anyone else? Rachel, I have a question for you. Don't go away. You know, as you mentioned in your opening statement, you want to work for the city as a whole and recognize that all of us do work for the city as a whole, because when we step up to this table, although we do represent our districts, we also represent the entire city of Surprise, because every vote we take has an effect across the entire city. But the other thing that is important, and I have spent a lot of time working with this current city council, trying to reach out to our neighboring communities, and so I want to know where you relate the importance of developing relationships in the job as a city council person.
Well, I just took a tour of all the parks last week, and I was amazed about how many parks we have and the things that are lacking in each park. I also understand that the OTS is in need of more recreation. But as far as right now, I would like to concentrate on working with the departments, knowing which department is, you know, working with who. It's something new, and I would like to meet everybody in the office and work with a police department and the fire department. Those are very important for our safety. So I don't know if I answered your question or not, but relationship with other communities it's a must.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rachel. And next, we have Danny Arizmendez. Danny, if you would come forward and state your name and your address for the record, and then give your opening statement.
Mayor, Council, my name is Danny Arizmendez. I live at 128 39 West Young Street in Surprise, Arizona, on the Old Town side. I am married. I have 6 children, 6 kids and 10 grandchildren. I've lived here in the city of Surprise since 1980. I'm a lifelong resident. I've seen it from the square mile to all the different all the different parts of the annexation. I've been on the council here before, so I have a lot of history with what's happened through the city of Surprise, from the first annexation to the second annexations to the different budgets. I am definitely familiar with how the procedures work and how to work with the council and to make things happen with the council.
Are there questions? Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Danny, thank you also for coming forward. It's nice when people are willing to come forward and serve the city. Let me ask you the same question that I asked earlier. What do you see as the one or two most important things that need some attention in your district?
In my district, it would be rehab housing is really super important. We need to follow and look and aid some of these people that actually, how do I word this, that deserve the help. There's a lot of people that have put out applications, and I've seen this done before where the city has gone out and helped and have done the rehab, and then they've sold and moved on, and was not good. And we've learned from that. That's some of the experiences that I bring here to the city of Surprise. Rehabbing is very important. The lighting is also important. The parks that we have there need to be upgraded, somewhat. There's not a whole lot been done there lately, so it needs to be upgraded a little bit. A little attention, not a lot, but just a little. Thank you.
Councilmember Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. Danny, thanks for putting in the application.
Thank you.
Piggybacking on Vice Mayor's question, what do you think are the two biggest priorities within the whole city?
I think the budget is important. We have to stay into budget, and we have to have a budget that's accountable to the people, something that's transparent, that we can go out and feel good about going out to the public. This is what we've done. This is where your dollars were spent. The ideas of going out and doing something big and fancy and hopeful and wishful thinking, those days are gone. We don't need to be there. We need something that's tangible, something we can touch and feel and be able to explain it to our constituents.
Okay, that's one. Mm-hmm. What's two?
Well, the question again, I'm sorry.
In other words, the two biggest priorities you see as overall city.
The roads. The roads are very important. Bell Road hasn't been done since I was on the council. That's something that we need to really take a look at. I was in the council when we did Bell, and it was Paul Bonstein that did that. And if you've ever wondered why we have orange trees instead of decoration trees, is when I was in the council, I had asked that we wanted some real fruit trees, because the decoration fruit would fall down and go to waste, and you'd have all kinds of animals and mess. But Bell Road is, I feel, is something that needs to be brought up on the agenda here for the council, city of Surprise. We need, naturally more roads going east and west, and those are hard to come by. But Bell Road and Grand Avenue 2nd is something that we need to address.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, gentlemen? All right. Seeing no further questions, I would like to defer to the city clerk to read for the purpose of, thank you, Danny, I apologize. Thank you very much. For the purpose of the process, just to read that for the public.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
We will proceed.
I put a copy of this before you. This election is made by majority vote of the council, made by ballot, after all nominations have been made. There is no requirement for a seconding of any nomination, and all nominations must be made before the vote. If no majority exists, a second vote will be had between the two candidates receiving the highest number of votes on the initial cast. If on the second vote no candidate receives a majority, the application process begins again. Once a candidate is selected, the new council member will be sworn in directly after selection. You have your slips of paper, your voting ballots in front of you.
Thank you very much. And so at this time, I will entertain a motion.
I nominate Rachel Villanueva.
Is there any other nomination? Is there any other nomination? Is there any other nomination? I will close the nominations. At this time, you will please fill out your ballot.
I'm going to read the council results. Councilmember Hall voted for Rachel Villanueva. Vice Mayor Biendo voted for Rachel Villanueva. Councilmember Williams voted for Rachel Villanueva. Councilmember Alton, Rachel Villanueva. Mayor Wolcott, Rachel Villanueva. And Councilmember Mankiewicz, Rachel Villanueva. That is unanimous vote.
Thank you very much. And so, Rachel, congratulations. First of all, Danny, thank you for applying. Rachel, if you would come forward to be sworn in and take your seat.
Take your seat. You're in the frame.
Thank you. I'm going to issue you the oath of office, so please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name for the record.
Rachel Villanueva,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United
of
States
the United States
and the laws
and the laws
of the state of
and
Arizona,
the state of Arizona,
that I will bear
that I will bear
true faith
true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and defend them
and defend them
against all enemies
against all enemies
whatsoever,
whatsoever,
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the position of
of the position of
District 4 Council Member,
District 4 Council Member,
and hereby attest
and hereby attest
to abide
to abide
by all official
by all official
ordinances,
ordinance,
policies,
policies,
and procedures
and procedures
of the City of Surprise,
of the City of Surprise,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Rachel.
Thank you.
Councilmember Villanueva.
Councilwoman Villanueva, if you would please take your seat and get to work. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, the audience, I thank you so much for coming out to support the process. This is a very big day, and I have to say, too, a number of the applicants, we all received a lot of your support and calling us and talking to us. And if anything spoke to us about Rachel's ability to develop relationships well beyond the Surprise city limits, it was all the phone calls from mayors and ex-mayors and city council members and school board members and the like across the valley. And so, Rachel, you are a true asset for not only your district, but for the city at large, and we very much are pleased to have you join us at this table.
There you go. That's it.
Thank you. I want to thank the mayor and the city council for supporting me. I am a little nervous, but I'm not here to take Councilman Roy Villanueva's place. I'm here to take Councilman Villanueva's seat because he left a big pair of shoes that it's going to be hard to fill. I will work and try to fill at least one at a time because it's so hard to. I just can't imagine taking his place because of the response that we had for his service. I will also, his love for the OTS was so much love there, and it will not be lost. I will continue to work for the OTS, and the people that encouraged me to take the job, I will be calling them to help out. So I will call, make sure that they get involved. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rachel. All right, with that, we'll move on to the next item I'm going to be taking out of what is the published agenda. Item number 7 had been originally scheduled to be item number 6, and for some reason it got moved down into the public hearing section of the agenda. So at this time, we'll move item number 7 forward, and the clerk will please read this item.
Thank you. That's consideration and action on COS 13-014, authorizing the City of Surprise to enter into a construction manager at risk contract with Felix Construction for the Mountain Vista Ranch Well Number 2 for a guaranteed maximum price of $1,092,369.
Mr. Love.
Madam Chair, members of council, for your consideration action tonight is the contract with Felix Construction for the GMP number 1 for Mountain Vista Well number 2. By approving this, we will meet our promises we made to the community, installing this second well to that water supply facility. With that, I'll answer any questions.
Questions? Councilmember Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple, Terry. Has this been communicated? I see you have a start date, a finish date. Has this been communicated to the HOA board?
Oh, yes, we've been keeping them. We've been basically attending nearly every HOA meeting, and so they've been apprised of our plan of action. As we get closer to the actual drill date, we will ramp up our outreach to let everyone know that when the drilling will begin and when they'll see the walls go up. And so, okay. Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, you did a good job in the preparation. I just want to make sure the follow-through is as good.
We will continue that.
Second question is, just a comment. I want to make sure that everybody realizes this is funded out of the water fund.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Mankiewicz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple questions. Before the meeting, I ran over a couple of typos I found in the documents of no particular consequence.
Thank you for that.
I noticed in the contract, in the taxes section there, the TPT tax is reimbursed to the contractor. Is that for this particular deal, or is that a standard provision that we build into these?
I'm sorry, Councilman Mankiewicz, I'm going to have to look into that and see the reasoning for that.
Oh, okay. All right. I believe as we discussed, this well will be for recovery only. It's not an injection well.
No, this is a potable water well to supply the Mountain Vista water supply facility that only has one well currently on it. So this is the second one.
So it'll hook into the existing piping that's there.
That's correct. The developer was kind enough to provide a transmission line all the way back through the community to that supply facility.
And when the actual drilling starts, will that be noisy? It's going to bother neighbors, or is it just like regular construction activity?
No, the drilling itself is a 3-week nonstop process. There will be some noise there. What we will be making proper abatements, meaning there will be walls that will be 16, 20 feet high that are intended to abate the sound there. And so what you'll have is something, what I'm understanding is to tune to the idle of a diesel truck, and that will be just a nonstop sort of sound there, hum until the end of the drilling goes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So
Second.
A motion is made and seconded to approve this item as presented. If there's no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll.
just hold it down for a second. It should go. You can let it go.
Rachel, excuse me, Mrs. Villanueva, are you abstaining?
No. No, I can't see it. I'm not sure which button to press.
On top of you.
We haven't had the proper training on the equipment
And
yet
had an
for you.
orientation for the voting buttons.
got it.
That would be a 7 unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Thank you very much. And congratulations, Councilwoman Villanueva, for making your very first official vote.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item.
This is consideration and action on ordinance 2013-04, an ordinance approving a planned unit development for Moon Valley Nursery. The subject site is located at 13040 West Cottonwood Street.
Well, here we are again.
We have to stop meeting like this.
Time's a charm.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council, senior staff, and congratulations, Councilwoman Villanueva.
Thank you.
Tonight, I'm bringing before you again the Moon Valley Nursery sign. Just briefly, the site is located in the original town site on the intersection of Dysart and Grand Avenue. And just real briefly, the site that we're mostly talking about is the monument sign out front. And as we said at the last meeting, the other sign is being manufactured and installed as we speak. This is the revised sign. And one thing I'd like to point out that we're measuring this from top of curb. Typically, in the Valley cities measure this from the top of curb. This is what the public sees as they drive by, as they walk by. Just to give you a little bit more information on that. I guess I should go forward. Now, the entire sign is 55 feet to the top of the windmill, which will be operating, and 37 feet 10 inches to the top of the sign copy. And just an illustration of that sign. Now, staff took the initiative to go out and do a little survey of a cross-section of this from Grand Avenue to the site, and this is the cross-section line. And this shows the changes in grade. Now, this is exaggerated vertically 10 by 10 times, but you'll see that it's about 190 feet from the edge of Grand Avenue to the top of curb. Keeping in mind also the sign is set back approximately 30 to 40 feet behind that. Also a little illustration, this one, the cross-section is not exaggerated, showing you where the streets are and the views shed, and I threw in a little locomotive in there for some scale. Now at the last meeting, we also talked about the character of the sign, because it was originally a one red, glowing red sign. Now this is, it's going to be red, corrugated metal backing, similar to an agricultural theme. And what will be lit is the actual copy, the Moon Valley, as well as the moon, the single moon. And another thing will be the welcome to surprise on the bottom, or midsection of that. And of course, we spoke about the wall sign previously. And that completes my presentation. Are there any questions you may have?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you and the staff that worked with you, and also the applicant for being so willing to work with us, because we definitely want to get this right. I think that the council has spoken about this time and again now, that this is a very big shift in what we're doing along the Grand Avenue. And so again, setting that stage for doing something right, this is an important sign. And I think you've done a great job. You've done everything we've asked you to do. I will point out that one of the things that I specifically asked was that the sign box itself, try to match the view shed of the Grand Avenue corridor of all those large signs. And because of the depression where the sign is actually being located, now that sign box does match the view shed. And so that was a really important piece of the aesthetics that we were trying to achieve here. So I want to thank you for all the work you did. Councilmember Hall, you have a question.
Thank you, Mayor. Hey, good job. The whole thing looks really good. I just want to make sure the letters on the Moon Nursery letters, there's some relief there, right? They're channelized letters. The lighting is behind the letter, correct? But they pop off the front of the sign a little bit, right? So you
Yes.
get a little bit of relief. Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure. The welcome to surprise, though, is not, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But the Moon Valley is. Okay, good. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to add to what the mayor was saying and thank Moon Valley for bearing with us. I'm sure you were a bit frustrated from time to time as we tried to work this through. You brought forward, as rightfully you should, what you felt was best for your business. Our responsibility was to stop and take a broader view, balance that with what's best for the neighborhood and, in fact, best for the entire city. Not only now, but as we look to the future. So thank you for working with us to get to some resolution.
Councilwoman Villanueva, since you have not been briefed on how to use the buttons, I'm just going to ask you, since this is your district, would you like to make a comment about the sign?
I really like the sign, and we've been looking at this nursery for quite some time. I like to know when you're going to open, or is it open already?
The operation is open. It has currently been open for since April this year. Yes, ma'am.
But the old nursery is still open?
The old one closed afterwards whenever we opened up this one.
Okay.
Would you mind repeating that for the public, because we couldn't hear that on the mic? What's going to happen with the old nursery site?
Oh, well, I'll bring the applicant up to explain the purpose.
Still uses
Madam Mayor, Council, we still have some plants there, but in essence, it's just a growing facility at this point in time.
Okay. So your long
no
range,
more commercial activity.
All right. So your long range plan is to basically have that as a storing facility.
For now, yeah.
Okay.
We're not going to certainly not have it as a nursery again.
Okay.
A retail nursery again.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any further questions? Seeing no further questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor.
Woman Villanueva, would you like to make the motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve.
Excuse me,
There's a public hearing. I'm sorry. I need to open the public hearing for public comment. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Does anyone from the public wish to come forward to speak before the council at this time? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. And Councilwoman Villanueva?
I make a motion that we approve.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve this item as presented. Seeing no further discussion, the clerk will take the roll.
Unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Thank you. I think we've managed to complete this agenda with the exception of the call to the public.
Yes,
Is
we
there
do.
anyone from the public that wishes to step forward at this time?
Yes, we do. We have Jan Nivens, and she has a handout I'll pass out to you.
Welcome, Ms. Nivens. If you would give your name and address for the record.
My name is Jan Nivens, and I live at 16819 West Carmen Drive in Surprise. We've lived here for 5 years, and as I've said before, we really enjoy living here. I'm here to talk to you about an issue that I first addressed with the city in February regarding safety, security, and privacy issues that the residents and homeowners of 8 homes are experiencing as a result of the 303 widening project and subsequent elevation of Greenway Road. These issues continue to have a major impact on our safety, security, privacy, and quality of life. In April, the council graciously listened to our concerns once again and appointed Terry Lowe of the Public Works Department to help us collaborate with Public Works, ADOT, and the city and the Surprise Farms HOA on solutions. Terry, Lee Lambert, Sunil Garg, and all involved have invested a great deal of time, energy, and in some cases money to find solutions that will resolve the issues. Now, my father always told me that before you talk about someone, you should always walk a mile in their shoes. That way, you're a mile ahead of them, and you have their shoes. So, on a serious note, I'd like to take this opportunity to publicly thank the Surprise Public Works Department, Councilman John Williams, Ted Semino, Andy Sapone, Brock Barnhart, Rick Palmer, Perry Swenson, and the Surprise HOA Board for all of their efforts to date. I'm sorry, the Surprise Farms HOA Board for all of their efforts to date. Unfortunately, recent events have derailed all progress and efforts to restore our safety, security, and privacy. It's come to a screeching halt. We are again asking Mayor Wolcott and the City Council for assistance and leadership to get things back on track. In no way, shape, or form has this task been easy. Let me start by summarizing the primary solutions requested by the residents. Greenway Road should be returned to its original elevation behind our homes. That was what we really want. However, we were willing to offer or accept other solutions as long as they restored our safety, security, and privacy. So the other options that we were looking for was to raise the existing barrier wall to compensate for the 43.5-inch elevation of Greenway Road, to prohibit commercial traffic on Greenway Road between 303 and Cotton Lane, to install a safety rail or barrier to keep cars from veering off the road and into our backyards, and to install dense, tall landscaping and wrap it around the corner as a barrier, an additional barrier between us and the 303 and the Greenway Road overpass, which is now clearly visible from our front and backyards. The sound wall on 303 should be extended to Greenway Road. We've currently 2 homes with no sound wall between them and the 303. Our main objective has always been and continues to be to restore safety, security, and privacy. However, on several occasions and in presence of police construction, ADOT suggested that we file a property damage claim for reimbursement of construction-related damage to our homes. We thought this was a good faith gesture on their part. However, when a damage claim was filed the first week of August, ADOT immediately transferred the damage claim to police construction, and police construction backed out of their commitment to raise the existing barrier wall. Police construction and ADOT knew that per their contractual agreement, ADOT would transfer property damage claims to police construction. No one told us that if we filed a property damage claim, that the corrections to restore our safety, security, and privacy would not be implemented. We were not aware of the...
Please continue.
Okay. We were not aware of the claim process, the 180-day filing deadline, or future legal implications until ADOT sent us the property damage claim form. Whether police construction pays for damage to our homes is a separate issue and irrelevant when looking at the big picture. However, let me be clear that the restoration of our safety, security, and privacy to pre-303 widening levels is not negotiable. We have waited since January for resolution. July has come and gone, and we're now nearing the end of August. To date, no solutions have been implemented. We have no additional wall height. We have no signs prohibiting commercial traffic. We have no commitment that a safety rail will be installed to prevent cars from veering off the road and into our backyards. Landscaping's not been started, and the sound wall, we've been told, cannot be extended. ADOT continues to insist that the Greenway Road has only been elevated 23 inches. The attached before and after pictures, as well as our tape measures, show that the road has been raised 43.5 inches. To date, no solutions have been implemented that will restore our safety, security, and privacy. We are told that police construction feels the property damage claim is unfair. They should be in our shoes. ADOT received our claim for property damage during the first week of August. Per their claim form, it is state law that if homeowners do not file a property damage claim within 180 days of the date of damage, we forfeit all rights to legal action should our safety, security, and privacy not be restored. The injustice of this is overwhelming, particularly since it was ADOT's idea to file the property damage claims. The Greenway Road modifications were approved with the understanding that there would be no impact to homeowners or changes to the elevation of Greenway Road behind our homes. In addition, ADOT widely publicized that measures would be taken to mitigate impacts to neighborhoods affected by the 303 widening project. We are definitely impacted. And though ADOT contracted the road modifications, it is their design that was implemented and is causing the issues that we are experiencing today. If you look at the pictures on page 4 to 7, they show what we had prior to the 303 widening project. These are Google Map pictures that were taken in June of 2011. The pictures on page 8 through 10 and the video clips at the URLs listed on this page are a small sample of what we have been experiencing since the project began. Now, ADOT's position is that mitigation measures only apply to homes backing up to the 303, but it's their design that's causing our problems. We respectfully ask the mayor and council members for your intervention to restore our safety, security, and privacy, as well as the quality of our community and quality of life for the homeowners and taxpayers that you represent. Thank you once again for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Nivens. And I know I speak for the rest of the council. We very much appreciate the way you have approached this by coming forward to us in a very respectful manner and asking us to help work with you and with the other parties. And so I know that is our commitment. We will continue to do that to try to make sure that we can mitigate the situation as best we can to the role that we can play. Councilmember Williams, did you have a comment?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And to Ms. Nevin's point, I'd like ADOT to come in and give us an update on the 303, particularly that intersection at Greenway and 303, and walk us through this whole process. So,
right. I think that would be a very useful way for us to just kind of clear the air and make sure that we all know exactly what's been going on. It's hard to know. Side conversations, it's very hard to know.
We would really support that. And thank you again for your help. As homeowners, we have very little power to do anything, and we really rely on the city officials like yourselves to help us. So please help. Our other support is quickly bailing on us.
Again, we very much appreciate the way you've approached the council, the way you've approached our city staff, and we will continue to do everything we can to try to help mitigate the problem.
Thank you, Mayor Walcott. Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else that wishes to step forward?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Next item is other business and future agenda items. Councilmember Williams, I think you just offered one suggestion for a future agenda item, and I will certainly second that approach. I think we do need to have that opportunity to discuss that at the next available slot for the council agenda. Any other future agenda items, council members? Councilmember Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple. Chris, I'd like Michael Celaya to help us organize an effort to give the post office feedback about we want that post office to remain open on Dysart Avenue. It's under the microscope again, and I think even to include a council resolution. And then number two is that I would like to see a summary presentation in two areas. One, what are we doing about letting our residents know about recycling? How are we encouraging it? Okay. And two, what are we doing about conservation efforts, especially water, but also energy, etc. And what are the results? What is it doing for us? Okay. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Hall, I appreciate, and I know you have a special affiliation to the whole issue of conservation on water for whatever reason. But I know that you'll have a lot of support in having that those two items addressed, and I would like to also basically say that I have a meeting with with Congressman Trent Franks tomorrow, and we will be addressing the issue of the post office tomorrow. It is an important component, and as Councilmember Hall has mentioned, that the post office is particularly helpful for those people who are disabled because it's an easy in and out, whereas the other post office is much more difficult to navigate. So with that, are there any other items for future agendas? Seeing none, I'll go to the council reports, and Councilmember Hall, we'll start with you.
Okay, I just have one. Mark Coronado gave us a very good tour of all the parks in the city last Saturday morning, and a lot of us here joined him, and I thought it was very eye-opening about some of the things we need to do to improve our parks, especially Surprise Farms. And I understand that we need feedback, but I think we've got enough feedback on Surprise Farms. I think we ought to move on it, you know, and I think the Parks and Rec Board is on board with that, no pun intended, but I was impressed with a lot of things about the parks, but it kind of showed us where we need to work, and we can do it. It's just a matter of the will to get it done, and I really appreciate Mark's time, the way he had it organized, and all the rest of it. It was very helpful. So that's all I got, Mayor.
Councilmember Mankiewicz. You still haven't learned how to push that button.
Still haven't, yes.
You've been here weeks and weeks.
Playing the lotto or what?
I'll let John teach you how to. Just a quick report. We had our first meeting of the form-based code committee, the working group, and we're exploring the zoning code in Surprise and how we can create a more pedestrian-friendly, modern sort of a zoning concept so that we don't keep building out the city in endless rows of tract housing, but start building some interesting neighborhoods and neighborhood centers that are more people friendly. So we're exploring how to approach our code that way and go in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Just one item. I had a great visit with Superintendent Goodman at the Natterburg School District last week. He really seems to be doing a great job with getting that whole district stabilized. As you know, they're right on the edge there of Surprise and Whitman. But among other things, he's very interested in getting people in the community engaged in the school. He's looking for volunteers to come in with his students. So I'll try to spread that word through some of our chat meetings as we go. So I'd appreciate it if you would also. The more community engagement, then the stronger that school will become. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Alton.
In the sake of time, I have no report.
Thank you. Councilmember Williams.
Yeah, Mayor, a couple things. First, I want to thank our friends at Natterburg and Dysart. They've both been pushing a survey that's online for students and their parents to fill out. It's the basis for building a youth master plan as part of our strategic plan. And so there's been a huge influx of responses over the past week or so since school is back in session, and I really appreciate their leadership in pushing that. Also want to just advertise for folks that don't already know a couple opportunities for young kids. The Youth Leadership Commission for high school seniors, we're still taking applicants, as well as our internship program for any high school student. That's 9th through 12th. And then finally, I want to welcome Councilwoman Villanueva, and it's an honor to be sitting next to you, and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Villanueva.
Well, I don't have any reports other than I will continue to meet on Wednesdays at 6:30, like Councilman Villanueva was doing, and start talking to some people. I did take the tour with with Mark the other day, and I was impressed with all the, the parks and the need that almost in every park there was a need. But it was very interesting. I had no idea how many parks we had. So I'll be working along with all of you and with the staff. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Well, again, I too, I'm very happy to see another sister joining me at the council table. No offense, guys. Truly, I love you all, but I appreciate your joining us at the council table. And we did have a really great tour, and I want to compliment staff on the way they put that whole tour together. It was not just such a great thing for us as a council to see, but we were actually riding with members of the board. And it was an opportunity for the council and the board that is our board to kind of work together and see it together, see it, touch it, feel it together, which was really important. As Mr. Hillman and Mr. Mihalik and I were sitting in the upper back of the bus, we said, this would be a great thing for roads, and because we obviously have infrastructure needs in the city on our roads as well, and so it would be a great thing to have a tour of that to make us more familiar with those needs as we develop our CIP plan. And so I'm looking forward to that. But again, having a tour where you're really working with your board, you're working with the public. The public was there on that bus as well, which was nice to see. And I think all of us learned something about our city. We found some surprises on that tour, and some things that we were expecting, but some things that just jumped out as just truly amazing. So again, I want to thank Mark Coronado and his staff for putting that together, and to the board for entertaining us with a very, very valuable tour.
Mayor, when we take that road tour, we're only going to be able to take Mountain View Boulevard to a certain point.
And then we'll all get off and perhaps have a golf cart, Councilman Alton, that might traverse us across the rocky road. I don't know. And so we do, and in fact, we did talk with our state representative about the possibility of working with us on golf cart paths. So, and we've heard again from her just recently that she's extending a hand to the HOAs, that particularly those of us that live in communities north of Bell Road. So again, I want to thank all of the council members for all the hard work that you've done this summer. We've been very, very busy lot working together on educating ourselves on emerging issues, particularly on water and on our code. So again, I want to thank all of you for your participation, and also Councilman Williams on your leadership with the youth. And that's been very, very important, and I'm hearing a lot of feedback from around the region, so that's a great thing. With that, I know that we're all looking forward to bowling, the bowling outing for the Mayor's Challenge this Friday. And then those of you who will be joining us in Tucson for the league, there will be a special moment for all of us as we honor Councilman Villanueva. And so I look forward to seeing all of you that can make it to Tucson. So with that, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn this meeting. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. This meeting is adjourned.
First, fast, free. SurpriseAZ.gov is all about what is happening in